Alright, so this episode starts with story time, so I've scripted it so I make sure I don't forget to say anything I wanted to. I hope I can read a script. So, when I got my first job as an automotive technician, I started to have some money coming in, and I decided I wanted to buy a nice pair of headphones, even though I didn't know or care what that means. Friends in high school had mentioned Sennheiser and hushed voices, so I went and got just one I liked from the description, the HD 450 BT. It was wireless and had active noise canceling, so I went, okay, this is what good headphones are, and moved on with my life. Fast forward a couple of years, and they were in not great condition. The ear cushions were falling apart, which, that's fair, there's a reason they're replaceable in pretty much every make and model, but the electronics were starting to break down already. The volume was like random all of a sudden, choosing whatever volume level it wanted to when you started it up, right? And after like half an hour or so of listening to content, they would start to like freak out and like disconnect and reconnect and try to reboot and everything. I have to shut them off and restart them. The batteries in the things hadn't even really had time to start going bad yet. It was still getting good battery life. It's just that the circuitry was dying. This is part of why I don't like Bluetooth headphones. All of that circuitry has to be miniaturized and lightweight instead of, I don't know, robust. On top of all that, before things started falling apart, I'd have to reseat them occasionally on my head after more than like an hour or so of listening, because they'd start to get uncomfortable around my ears. So, suffice to say, I was thinking of a replacement, and someone mentioned the Meze 99 Classic in a video, and how it's meant to be comfortable and repairable. Since I was coming from, oh, these uncomfortable $200 plus headphones are dying after a couple of years, and I can't see a way to repair them, this sounded really good to me. So, I put together the money, I bought them, I got them for the comfort and the looks and the repairability, and, you know, it looks really nice. So I sat down when they arrived, and I listened to them just as, like, a formality, just to see if they work. I mean, if they work, that's what headphones are supposed to do, right? That's the end of it. So I put on a song I've been listening to for ages, and I freaking cried. Because I've been listening to this music for 15 plus years, and these things were showing me things in that mix I had never heard before. They were so much better than the Sennheiser HD 450 BT. And yeah, I ended up giving that Sennheiser to a friend who does really inadvisable electronics repairs. By the way, that's why I don't currently own anything from Sennheiser. My perception of their brand is absolutely terrible. I'll probably give them another chance later on, but come on guys, you have so many good drivers laying around, and I know you know how to tune them. You only have to design it once. I'm getting off track. Anyway, yeah, I have a soft spot for these, because they were the first time I saw the merit in something audiophiles said. I grew up with a background in science and technology. I learned to laugh at things audiophiles said, but then this lump of wood and metal showed me it's not all nonsense. Sound-wise, okay, these are a little divisive in the community, but it kind of goes along with the purpose they were designed for. Let me explain in conjunction with the physical design. They don't have a lot of treble clarity. They're more balanced than the COS units I did like last week, and they even have more treble than those awful Sennheisers, but they're still not for like studio work. They're definitely meant to be bassy. But it's because they're built for travel. That's why they have these pretty closed wooden ear cups, trying to seal in the noise so you don't disturb others and seal out the noise of like a jet engine, hopefully, but probably not. That's why they're designed for that ridiculous amount of comfort. This is crazy good to wear, and that's because it's meant for a plane trip that lasts for hours and hours and hours. And as for getting rid of like the very top treble, that can get fatiguing after a while. That ridiculously emphasized treble that a lot of the models I really like have. This is meant to not hurt your ears for like any period of time. Like, I recently listened to Everywhere at the End of Time by The Caretaker. It's a hard piece to listen to, mostly because it's a detailed portrayal of the progression of Alzheimer's disease, but also partly because it is a 6-hour composition. I listened to it all the way through with these in one sitting, haunted by that narrative, and I gotta say, not once did these get even slightly uncomfortable. I think these would probably be good for like 12 hours and up. Honestly, they're pretty wild. And although they do lack a little in treble, I feel they do make up for it with a pretty precise and even mid-range and like plentiful, rich bass. Like they're wild. Coincidentally, with that bass response, they also fit into the engineer meme of make it fussy looking and give it all of the bass, because just the wood and gold accents look to me like some kind of executive desk sculpture, and the headband kind of reminds me of like those weird rings on everything in the Jetsons, but like, yeah, these have some serious beast energy to them if you get to know them. And repairability. This is probably my favorite part. All of this comes apart with like reasonably available screws. Like most everything I've seen so far has been T6 Torx, which is not a mainstay of an American toolbox, but like you can get it. It's findable. I have it. And the screws, they're meant to not be interchangeable, and they do it in like a really slick way where like if it won't fit in a certain spot, it will be a different color than all the others that fit in those spots. But it's not like brightly colored paint that sticks out or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, these are black, these are gold, whatever. And it looks really slick, and that sort of thing is really helpful for taking stuff apart. They wanted the user to be able to take these apart as far as necessary to get whatever is wrong fixed if it breaks. I have an idea for a future video. Anyway, super repairable by the design, and the cable is completely removable and an off-the-shelf unit that you can just find. Like, you don't have to get the Meze branded one, but the Meze branded one is pretty nice. It comes with a microphone if you want it on the shorter one. The longer one does not, but it has the better connector at the end, I think. And they also make like a balanced version of the cable you can buy if you want that. I kind of want to make a video about how balanced amplifiers work, because the internet seems really confused about that, at least in written sources, and I found a wiring diagram, so I think I know. Anyway, these are also very nicely built. The only plastic anywhere in these is the frames in which the drivers sit. The rest of this is wood and metal and faux leather. On their more high-end stuff, they have the option of non-vegan leather. I actually really like the non-real leather, but that's just me. Okay, it's time for the things I don't like. When I turn my head while wearing these, it tends to break the seal across the ear cushions, which it's not like a catastrophic thing, but it does change the sound a bit. I assume it's to do with the very light clamping force to try to get all the endurance out of these they can. And I don't consider it to be like a massive deal breaker, since these are not for like a trip to the gym or jogging or anything like that. They're designed for sitting for hours and hours and hours. If you're holding relatively still, they fit fine, and it's great. The box indicates they're made in China, which for $300 I'm not thrilled with, but look, Meze is a pretty new company. They make all of their nicer stuff in their home country of Romania, but like the 99 Classics are a 10th the cost of the Meze Empyreans, so like, yeah, they're gonna sell a lot more of these, and I can understand them just not having the production facilities for that. I do hope they change that around later, but you know, I wouldn't expect them to start out with factories of that capacity. Anyway, in summary, I like these. I'm just a random person on the internet. You can disagree if you want to, and I can't do anything about that. But I find the sound to be enjoyable, and I find that endurance factor to be like a game changer. If what I've said here sounds good to you, give them some consideration.